I see this a lot online, and so I'm going to go ahead and talk about this particular topic, okay? FYI, Jesus never claimed to be God. Who was Jesus praying to, right? And so I'm going to talk about, I'm gonna start it like this: the image of God, right? So here we go. I'm gonna go back to John chapter 1 first. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So in this chapter right here, you see the word is capital. Everywhere in the Bible, the word is not capitalized, but the word is capital. That means it's a being. The word was God. Okay. If we move over to verse 14, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory. Other words, we beheld the visible manifestation of the word, which was God, is God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay? Again, we go back. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Okay, so the Word was made flesh. That means that prior to the Word being made flesh, it was not in flesh. Okay? And the Word was God. Prior to flesh. So that this right here is where people are missing. There's the flesh. When once God made himself, the word became flesh. Here's where we are, right here, when it comes to Jesus. Now, everything in the flesh goes by different rules. Okay? Everything. Born of the flesh. So now we're going to talk about us, ourselves. Okay? So I am me. Okay? You see me right now, but when I die, I'm still me. I'm just right how you see the flesh. You don't see my spirit. I'm a spiritual being. Okay? When my spirit leaves my body is going to go to ash. Right now, you're looking at the visible manifestation of me. That's what you're looking at. The visible manifestation of me. So when God made himself a body and became flesh and dwelt among us, the word made flesh and dwelt among us, that is the visible manifestation. That's the visible. It says it right there in the Bible. The visible manifestation. So just like you see me, but you don't see me. Okay. You see the visible manifestation of me. And this is a part of being in the image of God. So we're here in 1 Thessalonians 5, and we go all the way over here to I'm gonna try to explain this. Okay, so it says in verse 23, and the very God of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray God your whole spirit and soul and body. So you're looking at me, but there's a part of me that you can't see. When I die, when my flesh dies, this is my flesh dying. Okay. That one part of me will die. But I'm still. You see what I'm saying? So this is what's going on here. It's not as complex as it may seem, but it is complex. But it's not as complex as it may seem. Watch this. Revelation 19, verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. There's that capital W again. So now I'm going to go to Hebrews 2:9. But we see Jesus, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man. So this is why the Lord is called the Son of God. because he was made to be a little bit lower so that he could do what he did. Unlike us, we have a mother, an earthly mother and father. Jesus does not. He has a mother and he is from heaven. He was made the visible manifestation. And everything down here at all times is subject to God. So Jesus is not going to break his own law. The word became flesh. So then he's going to point right back up to himself. Anything in the flesh becomes subject to temptations, becomes subject to what happened in the garden, becomes subject to death. Anything. And this is what God did because he loved us so much. He took on the role to save us. He took on the role to save us, which means when he prays, he is going to pray back to the Father because he is in the flesh, and that is the order. Revelation 1. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, which is, which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. Verse 11, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. Let's go back to verse 8 again in Revelation chapter 1, verse 8. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the who? The Almighty. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Lastly, John 14:9. 14:8. Philip said unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it suffices us. Jesus said to him, have I been so long time with you, and yet have you not known me, Philip? So Philip asked Jesus to show us the Father and we'll be okay. We'll be good. And Jesus stated back to him, you been with me this long and you don't know me, Philip? He that has seen me has seen the Father. And how, says, you then show us the Father? Let me just go real quick back to Isaiah, who is a major prophet of the Bible. Isaiah 9. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be on his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it in it with judgment and with justice from henceforth forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Hopefully that helps with this question.